Who is God? Can somebody see God? Can somebody touch God? This one will take us back to knowledge still. And before I dive into this question, trying to break it down to our level, one thing that I want all of us to put at the back of our mind is that the question of God's existence, for a believer, you have to take it by faith. For a believer, you have to apply faith and reason. Fides et ratio, faith and reason. A number of times people have engaged themselves, into questions, trying to disturb the intellect, trying to disturb the mind, to break this down into particles that can easily be digested. One who is not a believer, you can never treat this question right. One who is not a believer, you can never treat this question right. You will agree with me that a number of times you have tried your best. You've tried your best to argue within yourself, within your very being, within your own existence. You have argued out, you have weighed down a number of concepts, trying to bring together, trying to integrate this concept of God, but you have failed. You have failed. You cannot get the answer. You want to see God, but you cannot see God. You want to touch God, but you cannot touch God. You want to empirically verify. You want to empirically verify God, but you cannot. For those who spend times in the laboratory, you have also failed. But why? Science is there. Science has opened the way. With the help of science, we could have arrived at this reality of God, but it is impossible. The reason is there are certain concepts that can never empirically be verified. The concept of the human soul, the concept of God, and the concept of the world. When you look at the world, there is no need again to go carry the world, take it into the laboratory for empirical verification, so that somebody can come to the realization, common consensus, that, oh, really the world exists, because you can never take cosmos into the laboratory for empirical verification. Two, the concept of the human soul. We cannot take this soul. But even those who do not believe in the existence of God, they really believe in their very being, their very existence, that there is really something within the cortex of the human body. That's something that makes life possible. The core of life, the essence of life, which is the soul. The soul is the essence of life. It is the soul which gives life to this body. But have you ever asked yourself, what is the origin of this soul, this spirit within me? That which makes me alive, that which supports my movement, that which makes it possible for me to lie down in the night and then again to wake up in the middle of the night, or maybe to wake up at dawn. Have you ever evaluated all this? What could be the origin of this? And yet we say it does not exist. God does not exist. We cannot carry this soul to take it to the laboratory. How can we trap the soul? Not to talk of God. How can we carry God? Where can we find him? To pick him, take him into the laboratory for empirical verification. When we want to talk of knowledge, the categories of knowledge, we have rationalization. We can apply the intellect to reason out things. Rationalization, we can apply senses. I come to know ABCD because I look at the person, I look at you, you also look at me, I look at the chairs around, I look at the people around. This is senses. When we apply our senses, we get to know the reality. Application of the senses, we get to know the reality. Empirical verification, that's why when one is sick, suffering from malaria and what have you, we take the sample of the blood and then we take the sample into the laboratory, and then analysis is done, then conclusion come, boom, the person has bacterial infection, virus, something like that. But believe me, there are concepts that goes beyond space, and time. God is one of them because God cuts across the categories of the human mind. And so, who is this God? God knows everything about everything. He knows everything about everything. What God speaks is. What He speaks is. He goes beyond space and time. He goes beyond the human imagination and the memories. He cuts across. He lives within space and time. There are quite a number of disciplines that have tried to explain the concept of God. The Bible is there, philosophy is there, theology is there, and many others, and many other methods that can help us to arrive at this reality. But much as we want to know really who He is, we can never know who God is. We can never understand Him. The incomprehensibility of the divine essence, we cannot know Him. We cannot see Him, we cannot touch Him. But we can experience Him in the works, in the effects, cause and the effects. Cosmology. Cosmology. Look at the environment. Look at the environment. Look at the beauty. The way of motion, the way of design, the way of degradation, the grades of things. God is wonderful. God is wonderful. He knows everything about everything. What He speaks is, let there be light, and it was. First day, second day, and the creation was beautiful. But when we look at the world today, is it the same 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 200 years ago? It is not the same. Is God the one responsible? Because one again will begin to argue that if God exists, why are people suffering? Why are the rich becoming richer and the poor are getting poorer? People are getting accidents and people are dying. Now people will begin to talk of theodicy, God and evil. God and evil. If God is there really, why are all these dirty things happening in the world? See the politics. See the politics. Look at the backdrop of the pandemic, the COVID, how people died. If God really exists, why are all this? Now, when we talk of God and evil, there is what we call natural and artificial. When we are busy stealing people's money, when we are busy embezzling people's fun, is God's hands there? When we are busy causing accident, they tell you to follow traffic rules, and we are not following traffic rules. When we kill people, when we cause accident, is hands God there? The hands of God, is it there really? The hands of God, is it there really? You see how unjust we become. You see how we rob God.